Welcome back to Snippet Coder, and we are back with another video. In this video, we will integrate the NodeJS JWT Token API with our Flutter application. So this is our application. So here you can see we have the username, password, then we have the forget password button, then we have the login button, then here we have the don't have the account sign up button. If we click here, it will redirect us to the register page. So here if we click on the login, we will also get the validations also. If I put here invalid username, so here we will get the API message invalid username password. And here if I put the valid username password. So now if I click on the login, you can see here we have been redirected to the home page, and the home page is restricted with the logged in user home page. We are just calling the user profile API, which required our JWT token. So on the basis of the logged in user, we are just passing the JWT token also. And on the basis of that, we are just getting here authorized user message from the API. So before starting the video, if you are new to our channel, subscribe to the channel by clicking on the subscribe button and click the bell icon to get notified about our latest videos. Thank you. So first of all, we have to add the packages. So we are using two packages. First one is the API Cache Manager to store the login details, that is token and all. And the second one we are using here Snippet Coder Utils for designing the UI and all. And here we will go to the PubSpec, and here we will add API underscore cache underscore manager, and version we have to put here 1.0.2. Then we are using here snippet underscore coder underscore utils, and the version we are using here 1.0.9. So make sure we are using the latest version. So now we will move further to design our pages. So here we will create the new folder under elif folder, that is pages. Inside that we will create new file, that is login underscore page.dart file. Before that we will modify our main.dart file, and here we will remove all the unnecessary code, and here we will add the routes. Then here we have first one slash, that will be the home page context. So here we are using a Flutter navigation 2.0 for the navigation and all constant. And here we will create the login page. This one we will create a stateful widget login page, and here we will import. In the same way we will do for the other pages also, and we will copy this and we will paste here slash register, and here we will create the register page, and here we will create one new page, that is register underscore page dot file. This one also we will make stateful widget register page, and this one we will link here. So now we will go to our login page, and here we will design our login page. Here we have to add some variables. First one will be the boolean type of is API call process is equal to false, and this will be used for our showing our loader and all when we click on the login button. Then we have the boolean type of hide password is equal to true. Then we have to create a global key here for the form, so that it can maintain the state of the form whenever there will be any set state change. So it will maintain the state. Form state global form key is equal to global key, and here we will pass form state. Then we will create two variables, nullable type of username, then we have a nullable type of password. Then here in the build context we will add here safe area. Here we have the child scaffold widget. Then we have to add the background color, and here we are passing the hex color utility from our Snippet Coder Utils, and here we will pass the color which we want to use. We are using here blue color, so you can see here whatever the hex color we will put here, it will show the color of that also. Then we have the body here, and we are using here progress HOD, and here we have to pass the child, and we are using here form. So now here inside the form we have to add the key here, and the key will be global form key. And then we have the child here, and for that we will create one widget here, and we will name it as a underscore login UI. And here we will create the widget underscore login UI, and here we have build context, and here we will create that widget, and from here we will call it here, and we will pass the context here. So now here we have to pass our key also, and we have to put a unique key. Then we have to pass here in async call, and we will pass here the variable, that is API call process. Then we have to pass the opacity. We are using a 0.3. So from the here in the login UI we have to return here single child scroll view, and here we have the child, and the child will be our column widget. Then we have to pass here children's here. Before that we have to pass here main axis alignment, and we are using a main axis alignment dot start. Then we have the cross axis alignment, and we are using a cross axis alignment dot start. So now let's run the application also so that we can design the UI side by side. So here you can see here we are getting the form here, login form with the background of blue color. So now we will design our UI here. Inside the children we will create one container, and that container will be used for showing our logo with the background of white with some edging of that border radius and all. And here we have the container, and here we will put width, and we are using a media query dot of context, and we will get the size of the our screen. And then here we have the width, then we have the height here, and we have the media query dot of context dot size dot width. Then we will put here decoration part, and we are using here box decoration, and here we are using the gradient, linear gradient, and here we will put begin alignment dot top center. Then we have the end alignment dot bottom center. Then we have the colors here, and we are using a colors dot white color. Then we have the colors dot same white color. If we want to make two different color, we can use that also, but in our case we are just using a white color. So now you can see here that white color is coming here, but now we have to put some border radius and all, and here we will pass border radius, and we are using a border radius dot only, and here we will pass bottom left radius dot circular 100. Then we have our bottom right radius dot circular 100. So now you can see here we are getting the bottom radius of both the left and right hand side. Then here we will add the child here, and there we are using a column visit, and here we have main axis alignment, and we are using a main axis alignment dot center. Then we have the children's here. In the children we are just using our image logo, but if we want to use other images or other visit in the children's, we can also use that. And here we are using align visit. Then we have the alignment, and we are using a alignment dot center. Then we have the child here, and we are using here image dot assets. Then we have the child here. Then we have to pass the image path, and we are picking from our asset folder, assets slash images slash shopping app logo dot png. And to access that we have to go to our pubspec to add the path also. And here we will uncomment the code, and here we have the asset and slash images. So here we have the asset folder, inside that we have the images folder, then we have the image here, shopping app. So now let's reload the application to see. You can see here we are getting the image also, and we are getting our background. So now we have to add some width also, and we are putting here 250. Then we have to put here fit, and we are using here box fit dot contain. So now you can see here image is coming properly fine in the center. So after this container we will add one label here, and here we have text visit login. Then we have the style here, and we are using a text style. Here we have the font weight, and we are using a font weight dot bold. Then we have the font size, and we are using a 25. Then we have the color here, and we are using a colors dot white color. So here you can see here text is coming, but there is a padding issue. So now we will wrap it with our padding, and here we will add only, and from here we will pass left 20. Then we have the bottom 30. Then we have top 50. So now you can see here we are getting properly fine. So here there is a size issue with our logo. So now here we have to modify some code. So here we are not passing the height. We have to pass the height here. Then we will divide it with our 5.2 to have a small size. If we want to increase it, we can also increase it by lower the size, and it will increase the height. So now you can see it looking perfectly fine here. So now we will add our controls here. First one will we are going to add the username, and for that we are using here form helper dot input field visit, and here we have the context, and here we have the icon here, and we are using here icons dot person icon. Then we have the key name, and we are putting a username. Then we have the hint text, and we are using a username. Then we have the on validate, and we will check here if on validate value dot is empty. Then we will return here return username can't be empty. In the else condition we will return here null in case there is no validation issue. Then here we have the on save value. So whenever we put any data in the textbooks, it will get saved when we click on the button. On that event we have to pass on the value to our variable, and here we have username is equal to on save value. Then we have our border focus color, and we are using here colors dot white color. Then we have the prefix icon color, and we are using here colors dot white color. Then we have the border color, and we are using here colors dot white white color. Then we have our text color. We are using a text dot white color. And in the latest update of Snippet Code util, we have introduced two new variables, that is text color and hint color. So make sure you are using the latest version of the Snippet Code utils. And here we have the colors dot white color. So now you can see that text box is coming here. So in the hint text, that is coming very white. So we have to put some opacity here, and we will put here 0.7. Here we have with opacity. You can see here the color has been light. So now here we will add border radius, and we are using it 10. So now you can see here text is coming properly fine here. So for the password, we will just copy this code and we will paste here. You can see here that is coming properly fine, but there is a padding issue. So for that we have to wrap this one with the padding here, and we will put here only, and here we have top 10. So now you can see here is there no issue of the padding here. So here we will add the key here. We will change it to password. Then we will add the label here, hint text, that is password. This one we will change it to password, and this variable also we will change it to password. So now here in the password field, we have to put some suffix icon to show or hide the password. For that we will put here, and here we have the property obscure text, and we will pass the variable which we have created, that is hide password, and we will set that value of the variable from our suffix icon click event. And here we have the suffix icon button, and we are using here, and here we have the on press event. Then we have the icon here, and we are using here icon, and we are showing the icon on the basis of the variable, that is hide password. If it is hide password, we will show here icons dot visibility of, else we will use here icons dot visibility. Then we have the color here. For the icon, we are using here colors dot white icon with opacity 0.7. You can see here icon is coming here, but that click event is not working. For that we have to add the code here, and here we will put set state hide password is equal to not of hide password. So now if we click here, you can see here icon is getting changed here. In the same way, if we put here some value, and if I click here, it will show the password. If I click again, it will hide the password. So now we will add the link for the forget password. So the forget password link we have to show in the right hand side. For that we will use here align visit, and here we have the alignment, and we are using here alignment dot bottom right. Then we have the child here, and we are using here rich text because we have to give the feel of the hyperlink. So for that purpose we will use here rich text, and here we have the style here. Inside that rich text we have the text visit, and we are using a text span. Inside that we have the children's here. Before that we will put some styling here, and here we have constant text style, and a color we are using here colors dot gray color. Then we have the font size, and we are using a 14.0. Then we have the children's here, and we are using a text spans, and here we have the first text span, and the text we are using here forget password. Then we have the question mark here. Then we have the style here, and we are using here text style, and the color we are using here colors dot white color. Then we have the decoration, and we have to show the underline text decoration dot underline. Then we have the click event for this hyperlink. So you can see here we are getting that hyperlink type text. So there seem to be the padding issue. So we will wrap it with our padding, and here we will wrap it with our padding, and here we will put only because the padding issue is from the right hand side, and we have the right 25. So now you can see here that is coming properly fine, but it is touching to our text box also. For that we have to put here top 10. So now you can see here it is looking better now. So if you want to make the click event for this forget password, so for that we have to put here recognizer, and here we have the tab gesture recognizer dot on tab is equal to, and inside that we will put the event whatever we want to do. Suppose if I put here print forget password. So now if I open the console, so now if I click on the forget password, so we have to reload the application. So now if I click on the forget password, you can see here we are getting the text here. So now let's add some spacing so that we can add, after that we will add the button, login button, and here we have the size box, and the height we are using at 20, and this one we will add after align visit. So now we will add here button for our login, and here we are using form helper dot submit button, text will be login. Then we have our on type event that we will cover later on. You can see here button is coming, but design is not as per our theme. So now we will change the design here. Here we will add the button color, that will be, we are using the same color, hex color 283 B71. Then we have the border color and we're using a colors dot white color. Then we have the text color and we're using a colors dot white color. Then we have the border radius and we're using a 10. So now you can see a button is coming as per our theme. So now let's make this button in the center. We will use a center widget. You can see here button is coming center. So now we will add the link for our sign up also if user don't have the account. And then here we will put here size box and the height we're using it 20. Then we will use a text widget. Here we have over. Then we have the style here. We have the text style. We will put a font weight and we are using a font weight dot bold. Then we have the font size and we are using a 18. Then we have the color and we are using a colors dot white color. You can see here or is coming, but we want to make it in the center. We will use a center widget. So now you can see here. So again we will add the size box. We will copy this and we will paste here. So now we have to put the link. So for that we have to copy this code which we have added here. We will copy from here and we will paste here. So we have to modify this link. First of all, we have to make it as a center. So here we will add the multiple text span. First one will be the text span and here we have the text don't have an account. Then we will show here link sign up. You can see here. So here we will put some space. So now you can see here. So from here we will redirect user to the register page and for that we will add the code here navigator dot push name. We have the context and here we will put the route name that will be the register. So if I click here and before that we have to reload the application. So now if I click on the sign up, you can see here we are coming to the register page because we don't have any content in the register page. That's why it is coming as a blank page. So our login page is ready. So now we will move further to design our register page also. So now we will design our register page. For doing that, we have to copy paste our login page to our register page and we will copy all code. Then we will go to our register page and we will paste here. And from here we will extract our code and we will paste here. Same we will go do for this one also and we will paste here. And we will remove the unnecessary code which is not required. Here we will copy paste our import files also. Then we will modify our register page and here we will rename to register UI. We will copy and we will paste here. And here we will add one more variable string type of email because in the registration we are just getting 3 input from the user. First one is username, then we have the password, then we have the email ID. And here we will change it to register. Then we will copy this one and we will paste here for our email ID and here we have email. Then we will remove some of the code. First one we have to remove is this one, forget password, this is not required. Then we have to remove this one also and here instead of putting login we will put here register. So now let's reload the application to see is it working or not. So now if I click on the sign up page, you can see here we are getting a username, password, then we have the email, then we have the register here. So now let's move further to have the implementation of the API and all. Before that we have to create the model file. So for creating the model file we are just using the utility, third-party utility. I will put the link in the description. So here we have to just copy paste the JSON and that will convert our model file with the null safety feature. So first one we have to create the login request model. And here I will just paste the JSON. The JSON will be the same which we have covered in our previous video. If you have not watched that video for creating the NodeJS API with the JWT token, then I will request you to please watch the video before implementing the API integration with the Flutter. So here the username password which is required for the login request model and we will name it as a login underscore request underscore model dot file. And now here we will click on the convert to dot. So here you can see we are getting the content here. We will copy this one. So now we will go to our Flutter application. So here we will create a new folder in the lib folder and we will name it as a models. First one we have to create here login request underscore model dot file and we will paste here. Second model file we will create here login underscore response underscore model dot file. Then we have here register underscore request underscore model dot file. Then same we have to do for our response also and here we will create register underscore response underscore model dot file. So now we will go back to the website to generate the other model files and here we click on the edit one and we will paste here the JSON. Now we will change it to a response, and from here we will remove dot file. So now we will click on the convert to dot. We will copy and we will paste in our Flutter application, and here we have login underscore response model. So now we will go back for the register request model, and here we will add it and we will rename it as a register request model, and we will click here convert. We will copy this and we will paste here. So now we will go back for the response. Here we will change it to this response and we will rename it as a response model. We will click on the convert dot. We will copy this and we will go to our Flutter application, and from here we will click on the register response and we will paste here. So now our model file is ready. So now we have to do some small modification in this file. We will go to our login response model. From here we will create small method and we will put here login response model, and we will pass here the JSON, and here we have login response from JSON, and here we will do JSON dot decode, and here we will pass str. So now we will go to our response, register response, and there also we have to do the same. We will copy this and we will go to our register response model, and here we will paste here and we will rename to register response model. Here we will import dot convert. So here we have to do some small modification, because in case of the email ID is already registered, we will not get any success, or you can say any data from the server. In that case only we will get the validation message. For that we have to put the condition here, and we will check here if JSON data is not equal to null, then it will call this one, else it will be null, and we will make it as a nullable object, and here we have to pass here pipe. So our model files are ready. So now we will move further to implement our API service and all. Before that we have to create one config file, and that config file will include our API URL and endpoints and all. And here we have config.dart file, and here we create the class config, and here we have static constant string app name shopping app. Then we have the static constant string API URL, and our API is on this IP address. So make sure you are not putting here local host, because we are using here local APIs from our local host, but in the Flutter application that local host will not work. To make it work, we have to put the IP here for that our local machine IP where our Node.js APIs are running. For that purpose we are putting here IP address with the port number, and APIs are running on this port. Then we have to put 3 endpoints. First one is a static constant string login API, and we will copy this, paste here. Second one we will change it to register, and the third one will be user profile. And here we have /users /login. Here we have /users /register. Then we have /users /user -profile. So now let's move further to have our API service file. And here we will create the folder here, services, and here we will create new file, that is API underscore service.dart file. Here we create the class API service, and here we create the static where client is equal to http.client, and we have to import here, and the package we are using here, package http/http.dart as http. And here we will create our first method, that will be static future type of boolean login, and here we will pass our login request model, and here we have to create the request headers, map string request headers is equal to content type application /json. Then we have to create the URL here, where URL is equal to uri.http, and here we will put the API link from our config.api URL. Then we have the endpoint here, config.login API, and here we will create one variable where response is equal to await client.post request, and here we have to pass the URL. Then we have the headers, and we are passing a request headers. Then we have the body here. For the body we are calling here JSON encode, and here we will pass the object here model.toJSON, and we will make this function as async here. Then we will check here if response.status code is equal to 200, that means login successfully. Then we will store the information in the shared service that we will cover later on, and from here we will return true, else we will return here false. So what we are doing here, we have created one function here and the name of the function is login, and we are passing parameter as a login response model. Then we are creating here request headers, and then we are creating a URL from the API URL plus our login endpoint. Then we have our response here, and the response we are just passing the URL. Then we have the headers here. Then we have the body here. And the body we are just calling here JSON encode with our model.toJSON. Then we are checking here if the status code is equal to 200, that means user is successfully logged in. Then we are returning here true, else we are returning here false. And here before the true we have to store the information of the token that will be covered later on. So now let's copy this function and paste here, and this one will be register. And this model we will change with our register request model, and the endpoint we will change it with our register API. And here we will just return our, and we will call here register response JSON, and we have to go to our register response model, and here we have to rename it to register. We will change it to register response JSON, and here we will pass response dot body, and here we have to change it to register response model. So now let's move further, and here we will create one more service file that will be a shared service, and that will be used to store our information of our token and all. And here we will create new file shared underscore service dot file, and here we will get the class shared service. Then we have to create some functions here. First one we have static type of future bool, then we have is logged in, and we will make it as async here. And here we will check is key exists is equal to await API cache manager dot is API key exists, and here we will pass the key name, and the key name will be anything you can provide, and here we are providing login underscore details, and we will return here is key exists. So what it will do, it will check in our API cache manager if this key exists, that means user is logged in, else user is not logged in. Then we will create one more function to fetch the detail of the login details, and here we have static future login response model as a return type login details, and we will make it as async here. Then here also we will create check for the key, and we will copy this code and we'll paste here, and here we will check if key exists, then only we will proceed further. And here we have where cache data is equal to await API service API cache manager dot get cache data, and here we will have to pass the login detail, that will be a key name to fetch the token detail from our database. Then we will return here return login response JSON, and here we will pass cache data dot sync data, and this one we have to import, and here we have to rename it, and we will go to our this model file and we will rename it to login response, and here we have login response JSON, and we will make it as a nullable here. So what we are doing here, we are checking if that login underscore detail key is exists in our system or not. If it is exists, then we will fetch the data. So in our local database we are just storing the token detail in the JSON, and now we have to convert that JSON to our login response model file. That's why we are calling here this function, that is login response JSON. This will decode the data from our database to the model file. So now we will create one more function that will be static future type of void set login details with, and we will make it as a async here, and from here we will pass login response model, and this function we will call from our API service. Here we will get the object for our API cache DB model is equal to API cache DB model. Here we will pass the key name will be the same one, login underscore details. Make sure you are using the same key everywhere, else it will not work. Then we have the sync data we have to call here JSON encode, and we have to pass here model.toJSON, and it will convert our model into the JSON in the string format. From here we will call await API cache manager dot add cache data, and here we will call cache DB model. So it will save our token detail and all in our database. So what we are doing here, we have created one function that is set login detail, and that we will call from our API service, and here we are passing the parameter as a login response model. Then we are getting one object here for the API cache DB model, and there we are passing our two values, that is key name, and on the basis of that key name the data will be stored, and the data we are storing here that login response model. Then after that we are just calling here API cache manager dot add cache data, and this will save our data in our database. So let's create one last method here that will be for the logout, and here we have static future void logout. Then we have the build context, because from here we have to redirect user to the login page. That's why we need the build context also. And from here we will call await. We will make this function as async here. Await API cache manager dot delete cache, and we will pass the key name here. So it will delete the data for that particular key. Then from here we will call our navigator dot push name remove until, and here we will pass the route name where we have to redirect user / login. So what we are doing here, we are just calling here delete cache with the name of that key name, and this will delete all the information of that logged in user, and whenever we log into the application it will ask for the login page instead of showing our data. So now we have to call this one set login detail, and we have to go to the API service, and we will go here, we will put here, this is the function for our login, and here in the status code 200 we will put here await shared service dot set login details, and here we will pass login response JSON, and here we will pass response dot body. So what it will do, it will pass this JSON to our set login detail, and from there we will save in our database. So now let's move further to have the implementation of the API service with our UI. So now we will integrate our API service with our login and register page. So now we will go to our login page, and from here we have to create one small function for the validation and all. And here we will write bool validate and save final form is equal to global form key dot current state, and here we will check if form dot validate. Then we will call here form dot save, and from here we will return true, else we will return here false. So now we will go to our button click, and here we have the login button. From here we will call if validate and save, that means form is valid, and then we will call here set state is API call process true, it will start our loader. Then we will create here model file login request model is equal to login request model, and here we have to pass the username, then we have the password here. Then we will call here API service dot login, here we will pass the model, then we have the then, and this one we will change it to response. Here we will check if response means true, then we will call here navigator dot push name and remove until, that means we are successfully logged in, and we will remove all the previous routes, and we will redirect to user to the home page /home, and we will add this one in our main.dart file also later on. From here we will remove this arrow. In the else condition we will show the pop-up to the user form helper dot show simple alert dialog. Here we have the title, and the title we are picking as a config dot app name. Then we will show the message here invalid username /password, and the button text will be OK. And here we have the on press event of the OK button, and we will remove the pop-up here navigator dot pop. Then we will go to our main.dart file, and here we have to add the entry for the home also /home, and from here we will open the home page. So now we will create the home page also. We will go to our pages, and here we have home underscore page dot dart file. Here we have to create the stateful visit home page. Here we will import. So now we will copy the same code in our register also. We will go to our login page. We will copy this code and we will paste in our register page. Same one we will do for our button click also, and we will paste here. And here we will change it to register request model. Same here. And here we will just pass email. Then here we will pass this model, and this one we will change it to register. And here we will check if response data is not equal to null, that means user is successfully logged in. Then we will copy this one and we will paste here, and here we will show the success message here to the user, registration successful, please log in to the account. And here we will redirect user to the login page. This one we will change it to login, and we will go to our main.dart file to see we have to put here for the login also, because this one we are going to replace very soon with the conditional one. If the user is logged in, then we will show here home page, else we will show here login page. That we will cover later on. So now let's go back to the register page. In the else condition, we will show here the message which is coming from our API. Here we have response dot message. So now let's reload the application to see is it working or not. So here we have our application. So now if I click on the login button, you can see here we are getting the validation message. So now if I put any invalid username password, now if I click on the login, before that I need to verify one thing. So here in the login page, we have to go to the login page and we have to copy this one and we have to paste here. And we will change it to false. That means after the successful login or register, we will remove the loader and we will copy this one and we will paste in the register page also. So now reload the application to see. So here if I click on the login, we are getting a validation message. So now if I put the invalid username password, so you can see here loader is loading here and we are getting here invalid username password. So in case if I put here valid one, Raman password we are using here 123456. If I click on the login, so you can see here we are redirected to our home page. So now let's go back. So now we will rerun our application and we will do our registration part also. So now if I click on a sign up page and here I will put username as a Raman, and if I click on the register, we are getting the validation also. If I put the password here and here I will put the same email ID to get the validation message. So now if I click on the register, so we are getting some error. Okay, so we forgot to assign the value for the email. So now here we will go and this one is for the email and here we will assign the value. So now reload the application. Here I will put Raman 123456 and here we have Raman15@gmail.com. This email ID already registered. If I click on the register, you can see here we are getting the validation message which is coming from the API. User validation failed. Email already in use. If I click on the OK, so here if I put a new email ID, if I click again on the register, you can see here registration successful and we are getting here please log into the account. So here we are getting the login. So now let's move further for the last step of the tutorial, that is we will integrate our home page and on the basis of the logged in user we will store the information that we have already covered in our shared service. After the login it will check if that user is logged in or not. If it is logged in, it will open the home page, else it will redirect user to the login page. And also we are going to test our user profile API with our token which is stored in our database and that will be sent in our user profile request. So now we will modify our main.dart file to have an implementation of if the user is logged in, then it will redirect the user to the home page, else it will redirect user to the login page. So for doing that we have to go to our main.dart file and here we have to add visit_default home is equal to constant login page. Then here we will call visit flutter binding dot ensure initialize and we will make it as a async. Then here we will create one variable bool type of _result and here we will call await shared service dot is logged in. So it will check if the user is logged in or not on the basis of that key save in our API cache manager. Then here we will check if _result, that means user is logged in. Then we will make the default home is equal to constant home page and here we will change home page with our this variable _default home. So what we did, we have created one variable of visit type of default home and we will make the default home as a login page and here we will check in the main function, that is we are checking here with the shared service dot is logged in and here we are checking if the result, that means we are getting the user as a logged in our local database. Then we are just assigning our default home with our home page. Then we are assigning in the routes, we are assigning a home page with this variable default home. So now let's move further and we will modify our API service to include one new function API method for calling our user profile page. And here we will go to the service folder, then we have the API service, then here we will go to the bottom. For doing that we have to copy this function. We will copy our login method and we will paste here. Then we will modify this function. We will make the return type as a string. We are just showing the JSON which is coming from the API. We are not going in the end type detail of that user profile page. And here we will change the method name as a get user profile. Then here in the request header we will pass one new variable, that is authorization. And before that we have to make one variable where logging details is equal to await shared service dot login details and here we will pass the token basic $. Then we will call this login detail variable dot data dot token and it is a nullable type. So here we have to put the exclamator. Then here we have to call our user profile API, which we have added here in the config. Here this one, user/user profile. Then here we have to remove the body part because we are not passing anything in the body, and this is a get type. And here we will check if the response.status code is 200. Then we will just return here response.body. In the else condition, we will pass here empty. So what we did here, we have created one function get user profiles, and here we have created one variable login details, and then we are just calling here shared service dot login details. So make sure we are using the await here so that it will block that execution. Once the data is received in the login detail, then only it will proceed further, else we will not get the token here. After that, we are passing a request header with the content type. Then we have the authorization. Then we are passing here basic, and then here we are passing the token. Then here we have the URL, here we have the API's URL, then we have the user profile API. Then we have the response here, and we are calling here client.getRequest, and here we are passing the URL. Then we have the headers here, and here we are passing the request headers. If the response status is 200, that means data is successfully fetched from the server. Then we are just passing our response.body. Else, in the else condition, we are just passing it empty. So now we will go to our home page, and we will modify that page. And here we will make it as a scaffold widget, and here we are using the app bar, and here we have the title, text widget we are using here. Here we have Flutter, NodeJS plus JWT. Title we are putting here. Then we have the elevation we are using here 0. Then we have the actions here because we have to put the logout button also. And here we are using the icon button. Then we have the icon here, and the icon we are using here icons.logout. Then we have the color here, and the color we are using a colors.black color. Then we have the onPress event, and here we will call shared service dot logout, and here we will pass the context so that if we go to the logout button, and here you can see we are calling here delete cache, and it will delete that login detail from our API cache manager. Then after that we are just calling here navigation so that we will redirect user to the login page after the logout. Then here we have the background color, and we are using a colors.gray color 200. Then we have the body here, and the body we will create one widget here, name as a user profile, and we will create this widget here, widget user profile, and from here we will return future builder, and here we have the future, and we are calling a API service dot get user profile. Then we have the builder here, we have here build context async snapshot, and from here we will return the string model, and here we will check if model dot has data. Then we will show the data. Here we will return center widget. Here we have the child, and we are showing a text widget model dot data. So here we will show our text widget with the model dot data, and here we have to pass our pipe because this is a nullable type. Then in the else we will just show here circle progress indicator constant center, and here we show child circular progress indicator. So now we will just reload our application to see is it working or not. So here we have our application. So now we will log into the application, Raman, and here we will put the password. So now if I click on the login, you can see here we are in the home page, and this response we are getting from the API, that is authorized user. So in case if I remove that token part, so let's see what will happen over there. So now if I go to the API service, if I comment this line, and here we will reload the application. So now you can see here we are not getting anything. If I put debugger here, and if I reload the application, so here you can see status code we are getting 401, that is unauthorized. Here you can see we are getting an unauthorized because the token we have not passed. So if we pass the token and if we reload the application, so now you can see here we are getting status code 200, and in the response we are getting the body which is coming from our user profile API. Also if we reload the application, you can see here, so we are not going to the login page because token detail are saved in our device, and that's why we are going to the home page. So if I click logout from the here, you can see here we are in the login page. If we reload the application, you can see here we are still in the login page because that token detail has been deleted from the device. So that's all in this video. I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like, comment, share. I will come back soon with another awesome videos. Thank you for watching the video.